So on our assignment, there are two parts. The first part is where you're going to talk about the graphs. And so we'll make some notes, hopefully give you some ideas about what to talk about, because in the first part, you're going to be writing a piece about these two graphs. So we know that graphs can be misleading. They can be misleading because of a ton of reasons. Some of those reasons could be because it doesn't have a title. Maybe your axis doesn't start at 0. Maybe they don't have labels. Those kinds of things can all throw your graph off. So you are given two graphs here. You're given graph A and you're given graph B. And you are asked to analyze these two to tell which one you would give to an investor. So let me set up the story for you. Let's say someone has decided that they want to give you money for your business. Sounds great, right? But they definitely want to know that they're making a good investment. So they have asked you to give them one of these graphs. And one of these graphs you're going to give is going to convince them that they should or should not give you money for your business. Okay? So which graph would you give them? Which one would you say, hey, why don't you give me money for my business? And here's my graph to show you that you should. Whew, it's a tough choice, isn't it? So we have to think about, okay, which graph would I give them? Well, I would definitely give them, which one looks better for somebody who wants to give you money for your business? I'm definitely thinking graph B, okay? So here's what we need to decide is why would we give them graph B? And I'm going to pull my Word document over here so we can make some notes, okay? So why would we give investors graph B? So let's try to think about 2 or 3 reasons why we would give them graph B. Well, first of all, one thing I noticed about graph B is the graph shows profits going up. Now, you can use all the flowery language that you want. Maybe you say they're increasing or something like that. But hey, if somebody wants to invest in my company and I've got to give them information showing that my company is doing well, I definitely want to show them something where the profits are going up. Okay, let's just be real. Now, what else is the good things about graph B? Well, in graph B here, it looks like it's very easy to see how much the profits are, right? Like I can tell you that in May, they had, it looks like a $40,000 profit, maybe $35,000. Somewhere in that ballpark. I can easily tell you the value of the profit. And that's because of the axis being labeled. So let's call it the vertical axis is labeled with numbers, right? So I can easily see exactly how much the profit is going up. Okay, so one more thing. Let's see if we can get one more thing that we like about graph B, why we would use it to show our investors. Another thing I like that there is a title to show what the graph is, what the graph means, right? What it shows. So that's important as well. I like that. So there's 3 good things you can talk about why we would give this to investors. Okay, now the flip side of it is why then is the other graph, in this case graph A, misleading? Or what are the downsides of graph A here? So if it was good for graph B, then possibly maybe it was missing for graph A, and we need to talk about that. Okay, let's see. So one thing I notice in graph A is the vertical axis is missing a label. So with graph A, I can't tell if the profit is $2 or $2 million. That's a problem if I'm an investor, because I want to know. I want to know exactly how much the profit is. So you can talk a little bit about that. And really, that's my most misleading value, most misleading characteristic. Is that it's missing labels. So you can talk a little bit about that. Now, part 2 of your week 2 assignment is to actually create a bar graph. And I want to do this one with you in Excel so you can see how easily it can be done. And we're going to add all of the bells and whistles. We'll add all the labels and everything that we need. So I'm going to bring over an Excel sheet so we can do this one together so you can see it. Now, if you don't have Excel, you definitely can do this in Google Sheets. You can do it in other, other packages. I'm just doing it in Excel because it's kind of easy that way. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is obviously list out your data. Let's put in Indiana for 25,000. Let's put in Iowa for 17,000. Let's put in Illinois, which I never spell right. Sorry, Illinois. Missouri, 18,000, and Michigan for 33,000. All right. So I just literally typed that. Now, what you need to do then is to go ahead and highlight this, and we're going to make a chart. So we're going to insert. So I'm going to click on the insert and look at all these beautiful charts. I want a bar graph, so I'm going to click the bar graph one here. If you'll click the little arrow drop down, you can choose, we want a 2D bar graph. So I'm going to choose a 2D bar graph here. I already had my data highlighted, so you can tell that Excel just created that on its own. I love that. Okay. Now you can actually just click on your chart title and change it to something that applies. Let's see, what was this over? This was medical supplies, revenue from medical supplies. Revenue from medical supplies. Okay, good. Now let's check our other pieces. So it said we can be creative with color, have blue bars, but then I had some instructions as well. So we titled the graph. We need a title for the X and the Y axis. So let me bring my chart back over. I'm going to show you how to create, how to label those two axes in Excel. So it'll be super simple. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. When you click on this chart, you see these little things over on the side. You can click this plus are your chart elements. And we want axis titles. So what Excel does is it puts it in there for you, and then you just click on them and go back and change them. States. And here we have revenue. Oh, don't move it. Sorry. When it's vertical, it's a little different. Revenue. Voila. Okay. So then our next bullet said label in numbers and years on each axis. We have that, and we can use any one we want. Now here's the deal. We need to take this and put it in our Word document. So when you are done writing, and I'm sorry I've got all these windows here, but I want you to see how I actually do this. I literally click on this chart and I Control C to copy it over here in my Word document. See how it just came over real quick? So when I'm in Excel, I highlight the chart, Control C, and when I come in my Word document, Control V drops it in there. Okay, now you can write your piece for the bullets that we actually brainstormed, but then you actually make your bar graph in Excel. It makes it super simple. Feel free, play around with the color if you want, but I like that Excel does the hard work for us.